So in the last lecture, I covered and we discussed about synchronous motor drives. So the different types of synchronous motor drives, like true control mode and self-control mode, and the dynamics of the synchronous motor, vector control of synchronous motor, and angle control of synchronous motor. And in the angle control, again we discussed about unity power factor control synchronous motor drive, both the dynamic condition as well as steady state condition. So if you vary the field current, what will happen? All these things we already explained. I already explained in the last lecture. Now today I would like to explain about the permanent magnet motors. Today's lecture this is now module 4. Permanent magnet motors. So next concept is permanent magnet motors. So basically, first we will discuss about the types of permanent magnets. So first one is types of permanent magnets. So basically there are two types of permanent magnets. One is conventional DC permanent magnetic motor. Types of permanent magnet motors. The first one is conventional DC permanent magnet motor. So this is the conventional DC permanent magnet. It's general DC motor. Okay, because already discussed in the electrical machines. One concept is the permanent magnetic, which is a conventional DC permanent magnetic motor, and this will be used for low power and medium power applications. Low power and medium power applications. So as you know that, so the DC motor, this is the permanent magnetic DC motor. If you consider the rotor of the rotor of a DC motor is a permanent magnet. The field system of a DC motor is a permanent magnet. So there is a conventional DC permanent magnetic motors, and that can be used for only for low and medium power applications. And second one is the brushless DC motor. The second one is brushless DC motor or permanent magnetic synchronous motor. Permanent magnet synchronous motor, that is PMSM. So brushless DC motor, this is BLDC motor, or permanent magnetic synchronous motor, that is PMSM motors. So this is the types of permanent magnets. Motors are two types. The conventional, that is the conventional commutator as well as brushless DC permanent magnetic motor, that can be used for low power as well as medium power applications. And second one is the brushless DC motor or permanent magnetic synchronous motor. The operation of this motor is almost similar to the synchronous motor of operation. And here the special consideration we are considering as a brushless DC motor. So as you know that in case of permanent synchronous motor, your field winding is on rotor. Okay, this is nothing but as a permanent magnet. The field winding is nothing but as a field winding is on rotor, and that is permanent magnets. Permanent magnet. The rotor is a permanent magnet, and armature winding is on stator. armature winding is on stator. So armature winding is on stator. This is the normal synchronous motor. Okay, this is the brushless DC motor. So now, before going to the brushless DC motor, just we will discuss about the permanent magnetic materials and permanent magnetic principle. So let us see the principle of permanent magnetic motors. Okay, first I will explain principle of permanent magnet motors. So principle of permanent magnetic motor. So first we will see the principle of, before going to explain this permanent magnetic materials. So if it is a permanent magnetic material, let us consider, so just consider about, this is the permanent magnetic material, and this permanent magnetic material is a permanent magnetic material, and this permanent magnetic material is cutted with an air gap. Okay. Okay. So this is a permanent magnet, and this permanent magnet length, so this is the total length. So if you see that, so this is the total length Li, length of iron, permanent magnet Li, and this is air gap, length of air gap. So this particular is a air gap. Okay. So this is a core, permanent magnetic material core, and this is a air gap, and this particular part is a air gap. Okay. And the cross sectional area, so this is the cross section, but let us see that this is the cross sectional area of the iron. Okay. And the cross section of this air gap is Ag. So length of the air gap is Lg, and cross sectional area of the air gap is Ag, and total length of the iron, the core, we call it as Li, and air gap is A. Cross sectional area of the magnet is A. So if it is a permanent magnet, by nature you don't want to give any excitation. It means that the magnetomotive forces for this permanent magnet is zero. As you know that if you consider it is an iron piece, for example, this is an iron piece. So what you are doing, if you want to make this iron is into electromagnet, and now you are applying some magnetic, some field here, the number of tons. So this number of tons, and you are applying some current here, and then after that it is called as, you are giving some magnetomotive force. MMF is nothing but as a N into I, and this is an electromagnet. And in case of permanent magnets, okay, for example, this is the permanent magnet, this is a coil, okay, and your current I is equal to 0. In permanent magnet, this is the permanent magnet and this is electromagnet. So in electromagnet, this current is existing. Whenever there is a current, definitely the magnetomotive force is existing, MMF is existing. In case of permanent magnets, okay, so your current value is, I value is 0, thereby the magnetomotive force is also 0. Magnetomotive force of the permanent magnets is also 0. The total ampere turns, total ampere turns is 0. In case of permanent magnets, total ampere turns is 0. So the total ampere turns, I can say here, okay, the field intensity. So okay, here the field intensity can be measured, H. So field intensity of the core, Hi, okay, and length because as you know that what is the field intensity? Field intensity is defined as the magnetomotive force per unit length. Field intensity H is equal to magnetomotive force per unit length. Okay, magnetomotive force is nothing but as a Ni by L. So what I can say here, magnetomotive force is equal to H into L. H into L. So that's why this H into L is nothing but as a magnetomotive force. Okay, here there are two paths here. One is the iron path, another one is the air gap here. So the magnetomotive force in the iron, okay, the magnetomotive force in the core and magnetomotive force in the air gap. Both are, because if you see here is the permanent magnet, the flux produced in this particular path, this total flux is phi, is constant. So total flux is constant. It means that the flux in the core and flux in the air gap is unchanged. Flux value is constant. So in the air gap value the flux is same, and in the core is also flux is same. So whenever the magnetomotive force is 0, it means that for permanent magnet the magnetomotive forces are 0. So it means the total ampere turns is 0. Ampere turns is nothing but as a magnetomotive force. Magnetomotive force is equal to H into L. H is the field intensity and L is the length of the magnet. L is the length of the magnet. So here intensity in the core or intensity in the iron and length of the iron plus intensity in the air gap and length of the air gap. So because it is the permanent magnet, this is equal to 0. That's why Hi into Li plus Hg into Lg is equal to 0. So try to understand here. What I would like to say, first you understand the H is nothing but as a field strength. This is field strength or field intensity. Field intensity. Okay, magnetic field intensity or magnetic field strength is as the ratio of magnetomotive force per unit length will gives as the magnetic field intensity. So H is equal to magnetomotive force per unit length. Magnetomotive force in the sense Ni by L. So here we have two circuits. One is, this is the iron path circuit, another one is the air gap circuit. So this is the iron path and this is the air gap. The total intensity is equal to 0. So from this equation, the H into I, H suffix I is equal to minus of H suffix G into L suffix G divided by L into I. L into I. Okay. Let us see here. Let's see, observe the BH loop or BH curve for permanent magnet material. Permanent magnetic material. So I think I already explained in offline lecture. Then I explained about this. Okay, so try to consider here. So the BH curve, the magnetic field intensity. Okay, intensity is represented in x-axis. This is intensity, and this is the units for this intensity is ampere turn per meter, and in the y-axis is the field flux density. The flux density units are Tesla or Webers per meter square. Tesla or Webers per meter square. So for this permanent magnet, so if you increase this the magnetic, so this is the saturation point, okay, and then this is the ascending values of field current. So if you are increasing the field current like this, and for descending values of field current, it will traces like this. field current. So this is ascending values of field current. Ascending values of field current. And for descending values of field current, this is the path. So as you are decreasing the field current like this. Okay. And if you further decrease this, so then it will be like this. If you further decrease, and then again if you further decrease this in the negative direction, so this is minus h, so the path will be like this. Okay, so again the same path. So this is the BH loop. Okay, so here if you observe this, so this is the hysteresis loop, and this point is nothing but as a BR, B suffix R, and this point is nothing but as a H suffix C, H suffix C here, H suffix C, and this is okay. So you can observe here at this point, at this particular interval of time, the field intensity H value is 0. Even though the field intensity is 0, the magnetic material, the magnetic flux lines are existing in the magnetic material is called as a residual flux density, BR. B suffix R is the residual magnetism. This is residual magnetism. Residual magnetism. Okay, and what we are doing here, after this particular point, so at this point, the intensity is 0, and now here, and at this point, the intensity is negative values. Magnetic field density is negative values. Now we are decreasing the intensity. So when you keep on increasing the intensity in the negative value, negative increasing value, negatively increasing value, then what will happen? This residual flux is coming to 0 here, and that particular point is nothing but as a HC, that is coercive magnetism. Coercive force, we'll call it as a coercive force. This is called as a coercive force. So what we are doing here is coercive force. So you are trying to reducing, forcefully you are reducing the field strength to 0 here. So that's why this is the coercive force. So here at this particular point of time, at this instant of time, the H value is 0. Magnetic field strength is 0. So even though the magnetic field strength is 0, the magnetic materials are existing in the device or magnet. So that is the flux density is existing. That you will call it as a residual magnetism. That is called as a residual magnet. So that is BR. And what we are doing, so to neutralize that residual magnetism, what you are doing, you are applying some reverse force or reverse energy, that is called as a coercive energy. So at this particular interval of time, so this your B value is coercive energy. So that is called as a coercive force. So based on the BR value and HT value, there are different types of permanent magnets. When BR value is high and BR value, HC value is low, so the different types of permanent magnets. So based on residual magnetism and coercive force, the permanent magnetics are classified. Again, permanent magnets are classified here. So this coercive force or remanent magnetism. So we'll call it residual magnetism is also called as a remanent magnetism. It's called as a remanent magnetism. So based on residual magnetism and coercive force, the permanent magnet is again classified here. So that's we will discuss now. Okay. So as I explained you, so HI is equal to minus Hg into Lg by Li. Okay, so let us come this particular point here. So you know that the flux is equal to magnetic field intensity. This is the flux density into cross sectional area. Flux density into cross sectional area. So that is equal to phi is equal to Bi into Ai is equal to Bg into Ag. Because what I mean to say here, the flux in this particular part is constant. In the core as well as air gap, this value is constant. So the flux here is phi and the air gap is also phi. So that's why the flux is equal to the air gap is Bg into Ag. Flux in the air gap and flux in the core Bi into Ai is same, uniform. So flux passing in the loop. So this is flux passing in the loop. So this particular closed loop is a constant value. So from this equation, okay, so if you substitute, that is Bg is equal to flux density in the air gap is the Bg, okay, is equal to Bi into Ai divided by Ag. Bi. So as you know that from the fundamentals of electromagnetism, we know that the mu is equal to B by H. Mu is equal to, that is B is equal to mu into H. You know that B is equal to mu into H. Mu is the permeability. Okay, there are again two types of permeabilities, mu naught and mu r. Mu r is the relative permeability and mu naught is the absolute permeability. Mu r value is changes. It will be depends upon the mu r value will be depends upon the different types of material. Maybe it is a cast iron, so mu r value is equal to 800. If it is a cast steel, and this mu r value is 1000. If it is a iron material, mu r value is 600. For different types of materials, the relative value, relative permeability will be changes. And this absolute permeability at free space, that is mu naught, is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Henry per meter. This is a constant value. Okay, so let us see here. So mu naught, okay, mu naught is equal to Bg by Hg, mu g by Hg. So what I would like to convey here is mu naught into, okay, Hg is equal to B suffix g. So as you know that Bg mu naught into Hg is equal to Bi by Ai by Ag. Okay. So from this again, what I would like to convey, Hg is equal to Bi by Ai by Ag into mu naught. Ag into mu naught. So this is the magnetic field intensity in the air gap. Magnetic field intensity in the air gap. Hg is the magnetic field intensity in the air gap. Hg is equal to Bi into Ai divided by Ag into mu naught, absolute permeability. So now if you substitute this equation, this Hg value here, then again it will be different. So in this case, I think already you have a Hg value here. So what I would like to convey is, so if you know that Hi is equal to minus Hg into Lg, okay, divided by L suffix I. So now you substitute the Hg value here. So this is Hg, field intensity of the air gap. So Hg is equal to minus Bi intensity. Okay, field intensity HI is equal to minus of flux density. So your cross sectional area of the iron part is a positive value. So the cross sectional area, so this cross sectional area AI is a positive value, and your LG, air gap, length of the air gap is also positive value. Okay, and length of the cross sectional area. So what I mean to say here is your AI value, LG value, AG value, mu naught and Li. AI is the cross sectional area of the iron core, and LG is the length of the air gap, and AG is the cross sectional area of the air gap, and mu naught is the absolute permeability, that is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7, and L suffix I, this is the length of the iron core. So all these values are positive values. These are the positive values. So this positive value, it will finally it is a positive value, but this is a constant. This is a constant value. So your HI is equal to minus of Bi into K. It means that, so at this point, so this is negative point, it is coming here. The second quadrant, for example, is the first quadrant operation, and second quadrant operation, third quadrant operation, and fourth quadrant operation. So you see here, so in this particular condition, so HI is equal to minus of Bi. So in the first quadrant, your B value and H value both are positive. Intensity and field strength, so field strength and flux density both are positive here. But here, what I mean to say here, your B value is positive, okay, and H value is negative here. H value is negative. So here B is negative and H is also negative value. And in this case, H is positive, H value is positive, and B value is negative here. So if you observe this, H is equal to minus of Bi. So it is a second quadrant of operation. So so permanent magnets of motor comes under the second quadrant of operation. So for example, if you consider the second quadrant operation, so again I would like to explain here. So there is another relation, so I will explain here. So second quadrant operation. So let us see here. So this is the flux density, and this is intensity H. Okay. So what I would like to convey here is, and this is, let us see, this is the second quadrant operation. So this I am considering this, and this line is a air gap permeance line. So this is air gap permeance line. So the corresponding, so if you represent this is a Bi value and this is HI value, and this angle is called as a theta. Is called as a theta. This is air gap permeance line, and this air gap permeance line will give the flux density, okay, and field intensity value. So because I am representing the second quadrant operation, okay. So from this condition, so this is the theta value. So what I would like to say is tan theta, from this equation, tan theta is equal to HI by Bi. So if you take this is the triangle, okay. So tan theta is equal to HI by Bi from this relation. So if you substitute the HI value and Bi value, so you know that HI value. So what I mean to say here is tan theta is equal to, for our understanding purpose, module of magnitude of HI by Bi. So you know that HI value, this HI value, HI is equal to Hg into Lg by Li. And Bi value, so again if you observe here, the Bi value is here, Bg is equal to Bi into Aa by Ag. So from this, if you write down that Bi. So from this equation, so Bi is equal to Bg into Ag by Ai. So if I substitute this relation here, so that is Ai divided by Bg into Ag by Ai. Okay. Bg into Ag. So here, so again, what I would like to convey here is this Hg value. Hg is equal to, again you see here, Hg from this relation. Hg is equal to, I am writing here, Hg is equal to Bg by mu naught. So I am replacing this Hg by Bg by mu naught Lg into Li into Ai by Bg into Ag. So here Bg get cancelled. Okay, Bg get cancelled. So that is equal to Lg by mu naught into Ag into, okay, Ai by Li. Ai by Li. So finally, what I need to say here is tan theta is equal to Lg by mu naught into Ag into Ai by Li. So this Ai by Li is a constant. This is a constant value. It's a constant value. And I think you know what is the reluctance. Reluctance is a property of magnetic circuits which oppose the flow of magnetic flux lines. It is a property of magnetic circuit which oppose the flow of flux lines. So it is also similar to the resistance in case of electrical circuit. So as you know that reluctance is equal to 1 by mu into L by A. So here, if you observe this, the tan theta is equal to, so this Lg by Ag. Lg in the sense length of the air gap, Ag in the sense cross-sectional area of the air gap. So this is the reluctance of the air gap. Reluctance of the air gap into Ai by Li. So this is a constant value. So your theta is directly proportional to reluctance of the air gap. This is important here. Tan theta is directly proportional to reluctance of the air gap. It means that if you decrease the theta value, your reluctance value is 0. So at this point of time, this is 0 angle. So it means 0 reluctance. So if you increase this angle, so this angle, when I am increasing, so this is theta 1 and this is theta 2. So as I am increasing this air gap permeance line, if I draw the air gap permeance line, so this is larger value of reluctance. So this line is called as a large value of reluctance, and this is 0 because the angle is 0 here. Theta value is 0. So when theta value is 0, reluctance is also 0. Reluctance is 0. When theta value is increasing, so thereby your reluctance value is also increases based on this relation. So theta is measure of. So finally, what I would like to say is theta is measure of reluctance. Theta is measure of reluctance. Okay, so this is the basic principle of permanent magnetic motors. So this is the basic principle of permanent magnetic motors. And now, as I already explained you, based on the residual magnetism and HI value, coercive force, the different types of permanent magnets. So let's discuss about permanent magnetic materials. So different types of permanent magnetic materials. Okay, types of permanent magnetic materials. Permanent magnetic materials. Permanent magnet materials. So basically, the popular permanent magnetic materials. The first one is Alnico. Alnico is a popular permanent magnetic material. So let us see here the graph which shows the residual flux density and coercive force Bg and Hc values. Okay, so this indicates that Bg values and this indicates that Hc values. So for Alnico and Alco Max, so there are different types of Alnico. The numbers Alnico 5, Alnico 6, Alnico 7, Alnico 8, Alnico like that, Alnico 1. So Alnico 5, it means that your Bi value is high. This is Alnico 5. So let us see, this is 1.2. So Alnico 5 and this is 60. Okay, Alnico 5. As number Alnico 8, it is giving higher, better permanent magnet. So this is Alnico 5. If it is Alnico 8, okay, so for this Alnico 8, this is Bg value and Ha value is 140. So this is Alnico 8. So for Alnico is an alloy of Alnico material Ai and nickel, cobalt and iron. Cobalt and iron. It is an alloy of Ai, Ni, cobalt and iron material. So in case of Alnico materials, higher residual flux Br value, higher residual flux and low value of coercive force. Low value of coercive force. So that's why this is the graph. So this indicates that coercive force, x-axis indicates the coercive force and y-axis indicates in the flux density. So coercive force always it is coming in the negative direction. So the second quadrant. So that's why low value of coercive force and high value of residual flux density. And the second combination, the second permanent magnetic material is ferrites. So that is ferrite magnets, that is ceramic magnets. So the second one is ferrite or ceramics. Ferrite magnet. So in ferrites, this is value different. So low value of flux density, residual flux density, low Br and high Hc. So for example, if you see here low BR, so this is a 0.4, I am considering here 0.4 and 320. So this is a ferrite. So strontium ferrite. So this is a strontium ferrite. Higher value of Hc and lower value of Br. So another one is barium ferrite. So this is 0.24 medium. So again it is 190 here. So this is barium ferrite. So the ferrite magnets, in the ferrite magnets, low value of residual flux density and higher value of coercive force. And there are third type material, third permanent magnetic material. Okay, that is Ne, Fe and B. So this is neodymium magnet, and for this neodymium magnet, okay, so this is the rare material. So this is neodymium magnet, Ne, Fe, B. So okay, so for this material, both higher Br and high Hc, both values. So this neodymium magnet is NeFeB. This is the representation of neodymium magnet. Both values of higher flux density, residual flux density, and higher Hc values, coercive force is existing. But this neodymium magnet, the Curie point, it is nothing but as a the temperature. So what I mean to say here is the low Curie point for this neodymium magnet. Okay, neodymium magnet, low Curie point, Curie temperature, low Curie temperature. So here Curie temperature, what is the meaning of Curie temperature? The temperature beyond with the magnetic material, it will loses the permanent magnetism. So if the temperature is beyond that Curie point temperature, so it will loses the permanent magnetic material. So that is called as a Curie point temperature. So if it is beyond that temperature, so beyond this Curie point of temperature, it will loses the permanent magnetic material. So that's why, so loss of permanent magnetism. So the Curie point temperature for this neodymium material is approximately 350 degrees. This is the low Curie point temperature. In general, the ideal value is approximately 200 degrees centigrade. So this is a rare material. Even though we have a higher value of residual flux density and higher value of coercive force, but the low Curie point temperature. So that's why these materials are not preferred. But if you see the ferrite magnetic materials, so the Curie point temperature is approximately 450 degrees centigrade. Approximately 450 degrees centigrade. For Alnico materials, the Curie point temperature is approximately 890 degrees centigrade. 890 degrees centigrade. So Alnico material. So that's why Alnico 8 normally we are preferring Alnico 8. So Alnico 8 is a higher value of residual flux density and lower value of coercive force. And the Curie point temperature is also maintaining at 890 degrees centigrade. 890 degrees centigrade. So that's why most of the permanent magnets are used for Alnico materials. So why they are using for Alnico? So this is the Curie point temperature. Okay, and this is about the case, and this is about your permanent magnets of permanent magnet, different types of permanent magnets. Okay, so next one is if you go further, the brushless DC motor. So I would like to explain the brushless DC motor operation here. Brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic motors. Brushless DC motor and permanent magnet synchronous motor. Permanent magnet synchronous motor, that is PMSM. And so first we will classify. So based on the field structure of the rotor, so there are different types of motors. So first we will discuss about the brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic synchronous motor here. So we can classify these motors based on the rotor surface. Okay, the brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic synchronous motors are classified based on the rotor surface. So based on the rotor surface, both BLDC and permanent magnetic principle, so both your brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic synchronous motor works on the principle of synchronous motor. It works on the principle of synchronous motor. Okay, synchronous machine operation. So based on the rotor construction, okay, so we can classify the motors. We can classify the motors based on the rotor structure. Okay, so here based on the rotor construction, there are two types of rotors. One is surface mounted magnets. Surface mounted magnets, and second one is interior magnets. Magnet. In surface mounted magnet, again two types. One is projecting magnet type. Another one is inset magnet type. So based on the rotor construction, okay, the permanent magnet, the brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic motors, okay, permanent magnetic synchronous motors are classified based on the rotor construction, that is surface mounted magnet and interior magnet. So in the surface mounted magnet, again surface mounted rotors, there are two types of rotors. That is projecting type rotor, another one is the inset type rotor. So let us see what is the structure of, let us consider the structure of the surface mounted. Okay, as I already discussed, the brushless DC motor and permanent magnetic synchronous motor working operation is similar to the synchronous motor operation. So rotor is a field winding. Okay, rotor is a field winding. In the rotor circuit, field winding is presenting. Okay, field winding. So field winding in the sense is the rotor, nothing but as a permanent magnets are presenting here. So as you know that the synchronous motor, rotor is a field winding and stator is a armature winding. So first let us consider the projecting magnet types. So projecting magnet types, this is the projecting magnetic types in a sense. So this is a rotor. permanent magnets are attached on the surface of the rotor. So this is the surface of the rotor, and here we are attaching the permanent magnets here. So these are the permanent magnets on the surface of the on the surface of rotor. So that is projecting magnet side. So this is a surface. In case of surface mounted magnets, so on the rotor surface we are projecting the permanent magnet. So this is the permanent magnets here. So let us see here. So this is the north pole and south pole, and here again south pole and north pole, and this is also north pole and south pole, and here also south pole and north pole. As you know that south pole is receiving the flux and north pole is giving the flux, sending the flux. So this is the structure, basic structure of this is the stator. This is the stator winding, and this is rotor core. So this particular part is rotor core, and this is permanent magnet, and this is stator winding. And in this case, so this is surface type. What I am explaining, surface mounted magnets. This is projecting magnet types. This is projecting magnet types. So what you need to do here is, just I am explaining here, this is the rotor core. This is the rotor winding, and this is the shaft. For example, this is the shaft. So on the surface of the rotor, we are attaching permanent magnets. How we are attaching? By using the epoxy glue. This is the epoxy glue. So by using the epoxy glue, so by using epoxy glue, so we are attaching to the permanent magnets on the surface of the rotor. And this particular construction, and this motor is not a robust. This is the projecting magnets. Projecting magnets type. This structure is not a robust structure, because what you are doing, you are just attaching the permanent magnets on the surface by using the epoxy glue, because it is a maybe for if you operate for higher speed operation, maybe this magnets will be coming out from the rotor. So that's why this projecting magnet type is used for low speed applications only. This is used for low speed applications. Only. And the construction of this rotor is not a robust. So the motor is not robust. And magnets are held using, the next point is magnets are held using epoxy glue. And here the thing is, it maintains the uniform air gap. Air gap is uniform in the projecting magnet type. And next one is inset magnet type. So what is the meaning of inset magnet type? So if you see that inset magnet type rotor construction, so this is the inset magnet. Let us see, this is your rotor, and here the 4 inside of the rotor. So this is the rotor now. We are attaching inside of the rotor permanent magnets here. So inside of the rotor permanent magnets. So inside magnets. So this is permanent magnets here. I am shading here. Okay, inside of the rotor we are attaching here. Okay, and this is your stator. So this is stator, rotor core, and these are the permanent magnets: north pole, south pole, north pole and south pole. So these are the permanent magnets, and this is shaft now. This is the shaft construction. And here, what we are doing here, this is inset type magnet. This figure is inset magnet type, and this is projecting magnet type. So in the inset magnet type, so this is a rotor core, and inside the rotor we are attaching the permanent magnets inside. Okay, and this type of construction is a robot construction. This is a motor is a. Okay, now I am explain about this. Motor is robust. Motor is robust compared to the projecting magnet type. Projecting magnet type. And stator and rotor cores are made with a soft iron core. Stator and rotor cores are stator core and rotor core are made with soft iron material. Soft iron. Here in this case also projecting type also, stator and rotor, both stator and rotor cores are made with a material made with soft iron material. Soft iron material. Okay. So this is about your surface mounted magnets. So in the projecting type, so what I am doing projecting. So in the rotor outer surface we are doing the projecting type, and epoxy glue, by using the epoxy glue, just you are attaching to the rotor core. But here inside, the inside of the magnet, so inside of the rotor we are attaching to the permanent magnets. So this construction is robot with respect to the projecting type. And here, okay, the rotor core and stator core are made with a material of soft iron material. Okay, and let us see the interior magnets. Okay, the interior magnets. The next one is interior magnets. So interior permanent magnet motor. So if the rotor is a interior rotor, so then we will call it as a interior permanent magnetic motor. Permanent magnet, interior permanent magnet rotor. So then the interior, so let us see. So this is your, let us consider, maybe you may consider here, this is your rotor. So this is the rotor, and rotor here, and in that inside just you are placing, this is one permanent magnet, and here another permanent magnet, and here another permanent magnet. So this is also another magnet. So these are the permanent magnets, and these permanent magnets are shaded here. This is permanent magnets. So this is interior. So we are placing inside the rotor core permanent magnets here. So this is north pole, south pole, and this is again south pole and north pole, and here north pole and south pole, and south pole and north pole, and in between these, so these are the air gaps here. This is again air gap, and this is also air gap, and this is also air gap, and this is air gaps here. Okay, so this is rotor core, and here this is the stator here. Okay, this is stator. This is the stator. Okay, this is stator. Stator. This is rotor core. This is interior permanent magnetic motor. So in the next lecture, I would like to explain the basic brushless DC motor structure, and this is the permanent magnet, how the permanent magnets are working. So in the next lecture, I will explain the basic principle of brushless DC motor.